Big night for them, and a big night for Wigan as well, who can go top if they win here this evening. And Simon Horton runs the ball up on the first tackle, and Steve-O Leeds, they will be told, I think, by their coach Dean Bell to run their blood to water and tackle everything that moves.
They have to. We saw against Bradford that they started well. The first 20 minutes there was nothing between the two sides, and I'm sure the coach Dean Bell would have told him, the Leeds players at Wigan, of course, they played midweek, so they should tire late in the game. And I suspect that Leeds will use Dean Clark to run very hard in the first 30 minutes and look for Tony Kemp to come from the subs bench and Graham Holroyd go to number 7.
Not been a bad first set of 6 for Wigan. Sean Edwards with the high kick, a tester for Lee Mayer, and Jason Robinson was offside. He didn't the dummy half, he gives it to Holroyd. Holroyd showed it to Forshaw, tries to break through the cover, but Edwards stuck to him, and Paul came over and finished him off. Iro will try and make some space now for himself from the dummy half roll. Farrell is the man around his shoulders and he brings him down. Newton again to Mick Forshaw, another former Wigan player in this Leeds team.
Good determined play by Leeds, led by the centre Kevin Iro.
Well, this is the last tackle, sorry Steve-O, the little dab to the corner from Holroyd. It was well thought out that. Hassan was chasing it, and well done by Rob Smythe.
Did well, did Smythe, but also it was a neat kick through. And there you could see Hassan getting to Smythe very quickly. But positive play by Leeds. We mentioned that the big battle between Kevin Iro and Henry Paul, well, the beast came off tops on that occasion. He just swatted Henry Paul away.
Martin Hall in at dummy half. This is Terry O'Connor taking on Iro and Neil Harmon, the two Leeds men sticking to their guns well. It's not been a bad opening 2.5 minutes from Leeds. The big question, as at Odsal last week, can they keep it going? Great crunch tackle from Harmon on Cowie, and Cowie. Bit of a schmozzle between the two prop forwards. Meanwhile, Mayer collects the high kick, sets off on a run.
Well, Harmon pushed the prop forward Neil Cowie in the face after this impact, and Cowie went chasing after him, and Barry McDermott raced across and had a lot of words to say to Neil Cowie. Keep your eyes out for the prop forwards, it's getting warm already.
Mercer, the man at dummy half, to Dean Clark. He comes back on the inside and gives it to Forshaw. Good tackling though from O'Connor and Hall. Newton again to Clark, misses out McDermott, finds George Mann. Try against Wigan, of course, in the victory last year. Good play from Mann out the back door, but Hassan couldn't get to that. The ball was knocked forward, Hassan got a foot to it and dragged it back, but it is a knock on, the referee's right.
Wasn't the best pass there, but I'm not so sure that that was a knock forward. That looked to be going backwards. Not surprising that the Headingley crowd went bananas on that. That definitely looked as though it went backwards.
Came back certainly off his foot, but the initial knock, the referee said, went towards the Wigan line. Anyway, matters naught now. Wigan in possession with Robinson. Good scrambling defence from Holroyd, Clark and Harmon. Hall to O'Connor. Terry Newton did well, stood his ground as the big men charged towards him. Edwards. Horton loses the ball. Horton.
Good hit from McDermott. He really launched into it there, but I'm not so sure it was the shoulder. It looked like the elbow. Either way, he got away with it. The ball came clear. Leeds look fired up.
They do. They know that the pressure's on. Graham West, the Wigan coach, talking to him. He says he just hopes that Wigan can maintain the pressure on St Helens at the top tonight. And of course, Dean Bell, it's pressure of a different kind. Newton gives the ball to Holroyd, misses out McDermott, finds the runner who is Mercer. Over the top from Mercer, and it bounces eventually into the arms of Hassan. Henry Paul is there and Rob Smythe. George Mann to Gary Mercer, taking on Mick Cassidy with a bit of help from Neil Cowie. He's brought down. Newton again, Holroyd. Here's the crossfield kick. Cummins is after this. Radlinski's after it too. Radlinski was taken out as he went to collect the high ball. Penalty Wigan.
Definitely taken out by the hooker. Terry Newton went for Radlinski rather than the football. And the fullback had no chance of catching that one. But it was a nice kick from Holroyd. They're the sort of tactics that Leeds will employ, especially in the early part of this game.
Well, Leeds have got a good record here at Headingley over the years. It's 10 wins apiece since 1973. But Leeds have won only 3 times in 22 visits to Central Park. That gives Wigan an overwhelming advantage head-to-head. Played at 44, Leeds have won 13. Wigan 29, there have been 2 draws.
What a great tackle there from Dean Clark. Low, effective.
Robinson's through the gap. First chance for Wigan, they're pouring up in support. And Smythe drops it. And that's a certain try that's gone to nowhere.
I can't believe it. Robinson had the choice.
Mercer takes the tackle. Leeds supporters really are getting behind their side.
Well, they're complaining that Sean Edwards is moving off the mark too quick, but he's standing back with the referee. Referee Steve Presley says play on. They're not happy, the Leeds fans.
It's now with Holroyd. He drifts another kick over the top. A fire's there. And Cummins is after him. And Cummins and Fallon collar the Wigan winger.
It was a nice option, but well read by the winger. Martin Afaya's positional sense there was superb.
Radlinski now. He bounced off Newton, but he couldn't get away from Dean Clark. Good tackling. Cassidy will run it back for Wigan. More good tackling from Clark. They're fired up, Leeds.
Yeah, it's good defence from Leeds. One's going low, one's going for the ball, and the other one's coming in with a crunch. And it's usually McDermott coming in with a shoulder.
No bigger test, of course, than the champions for any club, and particularly this Leeds side and this Leeds club. Lee Mayer will run the ball out again. Does well, the young full-back gets away from Robinson and Paul. Eventually Robinson gets back to him, second attempt. Of course, Robinson, Leeds-born, playing today against his hometown club.
Oh, tremendous play, though, by Lee Mayer. Avoided 2 would-be tacklers. Showed a lot of strength, a lot of skill. But it was a tremendous kick downfield, wasn't it? And the chase was there.
Well, Farrell felt that, the youngest captain of his country in the European Championship later this month. Andy Farrell, as I say, just named as the May Player of the Month. It's got to be a penalty to Leeds.
Yeah. Smythe reefed that ball away when there was 2 men on the tackle. There you see quite clearly Smythe's left arm dragging the ball down. Well, more pressure for the Central Park mob. Indiscipline there by Smythe will not please the Wigan coach Graham West. It's something that West really ensures is in the Wigan game. Discipline has got them so far, but not on that occasion.
McDermott goes off, it's a blood bin, and he is replaced by Nick Fozzard. McDermott had been running strongly in the opening 9.5 minutes. Forshaw gets the pass away to Mayer, who jinks inside a fire. That's good play from the young fullback. Well, he's only 20 years old. The debut against St Helens 2 years ago when Leeds lost 68-0, and he played at Bradford last Friday evening. Forshaw now. Leeds getting ever closer to that Wigan line. Holroyd, Clark, Iro. Gets through Henry Paul. Great strong run over the top. Drops for Cummins off the arms of Farrell, and that's a chance gone begging for Leeds now.
Well, we said he'd have a big game, and he started out okay, but that was a chance gone. Francis Cummins, it came off a Wigan arm. It was back to 6. They've blown a chance. First one with Wigan. Now it's Leeds' turn. But what an exciting contest.
Yes, it's bubbling up nicely. Coming up to 11 minutes gone, still 0-0. And good defence this from Leeds so far. That's 4 tackles made now, and Wigan still midway inside their own half. Hall to Robinson, playing standoff, of course, alongside Edwards, his captain. And Edwards drills a kick down the other end of the field. That's a great kick. That's a super kick from Edwards. It pushed Mayer into the corner, and look at the chase that's arrived.
Good stuff. Smythe, Henry Paul. really wrapped up the full back. Now Wigan have the advantage of this strong wind this first half. Good run from Hassan. That's going to be a key factor, this strong wind. Leeds will have that when the game's tiring.
Kevin Iro, I think, has been fed on raw meat all day, waiting for this match. He looks in the mood, does Kevin Iro.
He's received a lot of criticism.
Forshaw up the middle. And Forshaw retains possession. I thought for a moment he'd lost it. Newton gets it to Mercer. Mercer on the halfway line, now in Wigan territory. Connolly and Edwards there to bring him down. Holroyd misses out two, finds Clark. Lovely stepping run from Clark. Support there from Holroyd. Holroyd takes them out of the middle. Holroyd will score! Oh, magnificent try from Leeds. Just the start they wanted. Clark created it with space in midfield, and Holroyd turned Chris Radlinski inside out.
They don't come any better than this. Holroyd's long ball missed out three players, and Clark threw the biggest dummy there. Terry O'Connor, sweet as a nut. Neil Cowie failed to fill in the gap, and that is one superb step. This guy, when he takes on the defence, he's lethal. Watch for the long ball, and then the step from Clark. He's been around a while as a Kiwi, but good support. It was Graham Holroyd that started it all off with that long ball out wide, and justifiably gets the finish too.
And here now is Holroyd with the conversion attempt from his own try, bang in front. He slides the kick over the bar, and Leeds have a wonderful start. They've come out with all guns blazing, and they lead 6-0.
Well, it's a long ball from Holroyd that started this way, and you could see that it was a beautiful dummy, but look at the support play. Any youngster watching, Holroyd had thrown out the long pass. He did not fail. He stepped, he kept going. Great support play. What a try.
And he's known for his goal kicking, Graham Holroyd, but that's his 5th try in 6 Super League matches now. Well, just the start that Leeds wanted. And here now is Mick Cassidy. He takes the tackle.
Just consolidate, keep it tight now, and not give away silly penalties. There's no better team in the world than Wigan to counter-attack.
Yes, they are dangerous when they're wounded, Wigan, and they're trailing 6-0. And it's Edwards trying to scamper away, but good play by young Terry Newton.
A little bit of fisticuffs in the background there. Nick Fozzard and Mick Cassidy. I think Fozzard threw one. Touch judges didn't see it. I did.
Better get a flag in your hand next week. Robinson to Edwards.
You're kidding.
Out here is Connolly. Bit of a hole for Connolly to try and exploit, but Iro did well. So too did Newton. This is Hall. Edwards again. Dabs it through. The call was from Robinson, but well watched by the young Lee Mayer.
Positioning was superb, wasn't it? And it was also good by the centres. They moved up quickly, and they forced them into that.
Interference to Leeds. Interference at the play of the ball.
You see Terry O'Connor threw the right one then. Fallon wouldn't have liked that. Well, it's simmering, this one. There's a lot of verbals being thrown around there. You can see by the looks on some of these players. Oh, if looks could kill. Bang.
Fozzard is wrestled to the floor eventually. This Leeds side have beaten Sheffield and Paris, but they have lost 4 of the last 5 here at Headingley. Warrington, St Helens, London and Halifax have all won here.
Forshaw. It's good tactics by Leeds, Eddie. They're really getting it right this time. Holroyd swinging the ball around. They're getting it out wide. Not the best from man there, but they got away with it. It did go backwards. But they're finding the long ball out wide is catching Wigan. Now, Wigan's defence is umbrella style. You can see it there. Paul moving up, but a long ball often can catch them out.
And of course, there's no Twigamala on the park for Wigan tonight. He's out with hamstring trouble. That's a big loss for any team. He was close to playing. He had a fitness test at lunchtime, but Unfit was the decision. They didn't really expect him to come through with flying colours. 6-0, Leeds are ahead, and we're approaching 18 and a half minutes of the game gone. Well, you would have thought this one would have been one-way traffic Wigan's way, but credit Leeds, so far they've done all right. Robinson gets away from Mercer. Great second effort from Robinson.
Good tackle there by Neil Harmon. They're getting it right, Leeds, in their defence too. They're moving up quickly. Look at that. They're forcing Wigan down that central channel.
And Henry Paul with the mistake, and Harmon comes up with the goods. This now is Mercer. He spins away from Henry Paul.
Wigan slow, getting back into the defence. Long ball will catch them.
This is George Mann. Turns it back inside to Mayer. Horton and Edwards combine to bring the full-back to ground. Dean, Mann, taking on Robinson. Almost through, but Robinson hung on to the right ankle. Clark to Holroyd. Try-scorer who converted his own four-pointer. That's why Leeds lead 6-0. We're coming up to the quarter mark of this match. Clark hoists the kick. This will be easy for Radlinski. He was protected by two big men, Cowie and Farrell.
Tremendous work by the two big fellas. But it wasn't the best kick from Dean Clark, and Leeds just lost the plot there. Holroyd had to play the ball, and he's normally the kicker, but you can see there's only Clark moving forward. No pressure applied.
Martin Hall to Sean Edwards. Edwards ducking away from 1-2, and Newton collars it. Hall again to O'Connor.
Been a great effort for the first 20 minutes. And again,
Cassidy.
Wigan not getting this ball out wide, and that's down to Leeds' defence.
Henry Paul. Sean Edwards thought about the kick. Now the kick comes. Fallon's after it. A fire's after Fallon. A fire misses. Connolly doesn't, and neither does Andy Farrell. But that's a good run from Fallon.
He did well there. Martin Fire went far too high in the first attempt. They really are fired up, Leeds. The crowd are really behind them. And a big game from this guy. That's what we're seeing, and that's what they needed.
McDermott's back and out of the blood bin as Forshaw carries the ball over halfway for Leeds. Well, they are getting a little bit of pride back, Leeds, with this display so far. McDermott breaks through. The call out wide was from Cummins. McDermott wouldn't have heard it in this din. Here's Clark now, Leeds swarming forward. Iro trying to step inside Connolly. Quick hands by Mann. Hassan all wrapped up by Radlinski.
Tremendous ball skills from Leeds.
Dean Clark into the arms of Gary Mercer, was it? Yes, it was. Mercer, though, halted on the last tackle. That's the turnover.
What a tackle from this man. Andy Farrell, try-saver, ball and all, but what superb hands from Mann. Out to Hassan. Radlinski's working overtime, but it took a big bone cruncher from Andy Farrell to stop Mercer from getting an extra 4.
Terry O'Connor goes down in the challenge. We're watching in Wigan tonight the best attack and defence in Super League, and Leeds have scored exactly half the number of tries that Wigan have, 37 to 75.
That was the tackle. That was the one that stopped Mercer.
And if you were a stranger walking into Headingley tonight, Steve-O, you would say it's Leeds who are aiming for the top of the Super League, not Wigan.
Yep, but there's a long way to go. But I'm rather surprised that Sean Edwards went for the low grubber kick. We keep talking about this very strong wind that's to the advantage of Wigan in this half. And Leeds have a damn good kicker in Graham Holroyd. So the second stanza will be very interesting. But I know one thing, at Leeds 6, Wigan 0, there'll be a big smile on Bobby Goulding in the studio.
Yes, if anyone is rooting for Leeds tonight, it is the St Helens captain. If Leeds could win here, it would put the cat amongst the pigeons at the top, wouldn't it? Cummins has gone in gets himself untangled from Paul's legs. Sun streaming down here at Headingley tonight. Perfect for good open play, and that's what we're getting from these two sides.
And that's another factor where it surprises me that Edwards is not opting for the high one, because the sun in the Leeds defenders' eyes.
It's last tackle. Holroyd will kick into the breeze, and it's a good kick too. Radlinski has to race across and pick up. Foreshaw's arrive, but they get the ball away to Rob Smythe. Smythe up the middle. What a run from Rob Smythe. Oh, great tackle, Mayer. That's the zero tackle though. Wigan are pouring forward. Connolly.
Good job that Francis Cummings got there, and Mercer. Tremendous counter-attack from Wigan. It was a good kick downfield, but I'm afraid Leeds had no chasers. Radlinski launched Smythe away,
and he ran straight through a bunch of Wigan attackers. Farrell is grounded 10 metres short of the line. O'Fire has drifted in, he's at dummy half. Paul to Edwards. Edwards back on the inside to Robinson. Robinson spins away and gets the try. Well, the Leeds defence, which has been so watertight, suddenly opened up then, and Robinson spun away from tacklers and just danced over the line.
Well, Holroyd and Forshaw, what on earth were they thinking about? The simple run around that never came. It was a switch back inside. They were all around, and he just said, get out of the way. Spin, twist, in for the four. Smythe, a beautiful run. This all came about because Leeds lacked the chase, left a wide gap, and from it, you've got to go for the man here. Two big fellas. Robinson just says, get out of the way. Forshaw couldn't get to him. They bounced back.
Jason Robinson, his fourth appearance in a row at standoff half, try in two of those games. Loves to do well against Leeds, his hometown club. Tries here last November and in 93 and 94. So from bang in front now, Andrew Farrell with the opportunity to level the scores. Doesn't miss from there, Farrell. Clips it over. 6 points apiece here at Headingley.
There's a kick, but loads of chases. Dearly me. The run around. And he just spins in and out. Tremendous stuff there.
So, Wigan back on terms. Robinson with the try. England international, Great Britain international. Holroyd picks up from the kick-off. Mercer will run it back, but not far. Newton to Holroyd, and here's Fallon.
Well, that must have been heartbreaking for the Leeds coach, Dean Bell. They've done so well, haven't they, for 25 minutes.
And heartbreaking for the crowd, Steve-O. They've gone very, very quiet all of a sudden.
Well, they just dropped off them, didn't they? Everything was going so well for them, and simple basic skills, like follow the kick and chase, and it wasn't there. It allowed Smythe to go 50 metres.
This is a better run from Newton. He's only 17, this kid. That's forward. That was forward anyway. Cummings dropped it. The referee's pulled him back for the knock-on. But what a talent this 17-year-old is.
But I'm afraid he panicked at a time when he didn't have to. It was a beautiful step.
This touched Martin O'Fire's fingertips. But it didn't go backwards, of course. That's why the crowd are going mad.
Nice step, but it's forward. It came off O'Fire, but then it came off Cummings. So Francis Cummings, really, I don't know, that should have been, and it is right, sorry, Wigan's feed. The crowd was going berserk. I thought they were going to give a Leeds feed then for one moment.
Edwards dummy half, Robinson, Radlinski. Connolly gets away from Iro, Gary Connolly. They're stretched here. Inside is Radlinski. Hassan's after Radlinski. And Hassan just gets to it. No try, surely, double movement.
No,
he's short anyway.
He's short. And it wasn't a double movement because the ball carried out.
I'm not so sure about that. But anyway, he was short, it doesn't matter. This is O'Connor. Connolly with a super run has put Wigan in this position. But it was great defence from Hassan. Here's Robinson, short ball, Farrell. And down he goes under the challenge from Jim Fallon. Last one for Wigan, Edwards. Edwards delayed to O'Connor, back to Radlinski. Radlinski will chip to the corner, looking for Smythe. Oh, the bounce of the ball beat him. Nothing else. Well, Smythe, he can't believe it. Dropped one, was tackled short, and now that bounced over his head.
A big sigh of relief. But Connolly just fended off Iro. Long ball on the inside. Credit Hassan for coming back on the second effort. Bang. And no, that wouldn't have been a second. That would have been okay.
Yeah, the ball carrying arm, as we told you in our ruling before the match, didn't touch the ground. So had he just got another centimetre or two, a bit more of a stretch, it would have been a score. It stays at 6-all. We're coming up to half an hour gone. It's a pulsating match again, though.
It was a bad miss, though, by Kevin Iro. Tremendous skills, though, hasn't he, Gary Connolly? He just swayed his body away and just fended the big Kiwi.
Mike Forshaw's off. You might have noticed number 19, Jamie Field, with that first run a few seconds ago. It's now with Neil Harmon. Jamie Field, a second rower or a prop forward, Academy International. Holroyd's high kick, sliced off the outside of the boot, bounces in the field of play and then bounces out.
Well, he's not happy with it, Graham Holroyd, but he is kicking into a pretty strong wind. He's under a lot of pressure. You could see Edwards just beaming down upon him. And there you see how the ball has been caught by this strong breeze. It'll be going through his mind that the second 40, he'll be kicking it way downfield.
Radlinski, one of 6 Wigan players in the England squad for the European Championship. Remember, you'll see it with us on Sky. Connolly to Farrell, the England captain. Smythe back on the inside. Mayer misses him, and Smythe gets another try. His 10th. Rob Smythe with the try. His 10th try in Super League. Top scorer for Wigan.
Beautiful switch to the blind. See how Connolly comes round on the arc and then just beautiful pass. That was absolutely superb. Timing, the back on the inside. Well, a man got cut down a few moments before, but not on this occasion. Smythe in for a vital try at a vital time in this first half. But watch the skill from Connolly. He comes on the arc, draws man, bang. Farrell is away. And look at him go. Tremendous stuff. And during that passage of play, Kevin Iro, I think it's a hamstring problem. He pulled up very sharply.
Rob Smythe with the try. He's in double figures now. Hat-trick against Paris. Try here at Headingley. Farrell now. An important goal for Farrell, not only for the 2 points, but that's 200 career goals for Wigan.
Look how Connolly comes behind all his other players, and that just confuses the defence. They thought it was going to be a runaround. They were tight. Superb delayed pass. Bang! Straight the way through, back on the inside. He was stopped a few moments ago, but not on this occasion. You see in the background, Iro clutching the ankle perhaps. Problems with the legs, and problems for Leeds.
Andrew Johnson comes on for Wigan, and Leeds will soon be making a change as well, because Iro is disconsolately walking towards the dressing room, and I think the change has been made. Tony Kemp has come on for his first appearance in Super League. Iro obviously has a big problem, and that's a bitter blow, and 2 in 7 minutes for Wigan is an even bigger blow.
Talking of blows, that was a big one, wasn't it, from Farrell and McDermott. Bang time. Good run from the skipper, Harmon. He needs it. He knows they've got to get back into this game quickly.
The Leeds Player of the Year currently. Here's Tony Kemp, first touch in Super League. They've been desperately missing him. Last tackle, Mayer has chimed into the line. Good little run from Mayer, and good skills. Smites after it, and Smith going to touch the net. That's going to be 6 to go. That's super play from the Leeds full-back.
Oh, there's going to be a penalty. Edwards came in between. He interfered there. It was professionalism to its fullest. He did well, did Mayer, and I think the referee has got to give a penalty. Edwards will go to the sin bin for this. It was professional. He went in between. He was coming back from an offside position. He ran to the blind side and went in between the man passing the football. Well spotted, Steve Presley, the referee. That is tremendous refereeing. They get to the corner, but it was Edwards that came shooting through before that. This is the point where they allowed the advantage, did Steve Presley, but a few seconds before then, this is it. Professionalism there by Edwards. He thought he'd get away with it, but the very whistleblower, Steve Presley, was too smart. Well done.
Now, just as Castleford did last night when Warrington were reduced to 12 men, Leeds are not kicking this penalty, and there's more trouble here for O'Connor. The referee wants a word with him as well.
A few words of wisdom. Farrell, the captain, is being told in no uncertain terms by Steve Presley, I am the boss. Shut it.
Pushed at the play the ball. Still Leeds decide to run it with Harman. Just as Castleford did when Warrington were reduced to 12 men last night, Leeds think they're on a roll here against the 12 men of Wigan. Will their gamble come off? Tony Kemp. The tackle came in ferociously from Hall.
Kemp was looking for the second phase. The first man went through, but the second runner was nowhere.
Mercer picks himself up, plays the ball to Newton. Terry Newton trying to get across himself, thought about stretching out then. Holroyd now steps inside Cassidy. Oh no, he doesn't. They've made no ground, but this is the last tackle. Kemp dabs it through. McDermott. The ball comes free again. The referee will play first knock on.
Well,
Big call this. Whose head and feet is it?
He's only been on a few moments there. Well, that'll be a knock on from the Wigan player, so it's got to be a head and feet for Leeds.
And it is.
He hasn't been on long, Tony Kemp. But he certainly, we saw that little jinking run and was looking for the man to come through. They've got to support him more, Leeds.
This is Dean Clark. This is terrific pressure from Leeds. Kemp to Holroyd, out wide to Mann. George Mann gets the try! George Mann, he got one here last year against Wigan at Headingley, and he's done the same again tonight. Loves playing against the men from Central Park, obviously.
Tremendous thinking by Leeds. They went on the blindside option. Holroyd shouted for it, the long ball out wide, and a man who loves to run out in the centres. George Mann, straight through. But it all came from the sin bin of Sean Edwards. Professionalism there from Edwards. He didn't get away with it. And Leeds made full advantage. They opted to run with it, the power play. But what a superb long ball. It was a little dummy, and the big Kiwi, George Mann, has brought Leeds well and truly back into this game. What a cracker.
George Mann with the try then. And this is a big kick now for Graham Holroyd. I noticed, by the way, that Chris Radlinski is walking off towards the trainers' benches, so there might be a problem with the Wigan full-back. This is Holroyd with the kick, and it comes back on him in the wind. Drifts in front of the posts, but leads back to within 2 points.
There you see the Wigan defence, they're going open, switch to the blind, it's on. They were caught short. See how they hesitated, and that was enough. Beautiful thinking. That would have pleased Dean Bell. He's had not much to smile about this season, but he should go in at half-time feeling very confident.
Well, he will if Leeds can hold the situation here or get even better. Wigan 12-10 ahead, 2 points in it, that's all. And we now have 2 minutes to the half-time break. A vital 2 minutes, and Sean Edwards in the sin bin, watching ruefully on. O'Connor. 3 tackles gone. It's been a good defensive effort, this, from Leeds, as they try and hold on to this rampant Wigan outfit, who have scored no fewer than more than 400 points this season in 9 matches already. With runs like this from Robinson. He's got Henry Paul in support. Mayer's tried to cut him off. Dean Clark just gets to him and hauls him down.
He blew it. He had Smythe on the outside, but they'll get it now, surely.
Hall gets the try. Francis Cummins is complaining about something. He says that Hall lost it over the line, and so Steve Presley says he'll hand this on to the video referee. Cummins is convinced there's a problem here.
Martin Hall, was it knocked through? He lost it.
He did. No try that.
But is it a penalty? 2 men were in attendance. Is it an arm being pushed out by Cummins? This is going to be a big call. Is it knock on, or is it a penalty? Leeds want to tap it on the quarter line, but what on earth was Paul doing? Hall drops this one, but what is a hand? Did Cummins' hand knock the ball?
Here comes the decision. All eyes on the screen. No try, and no, the hand wasn't in there. It's a 20-metre place kick to Leeds. Every smiling face wearing a Leeds replica jersey.
Well, to his dying day, I'm sure that the hooker Martin Hall, and hookers don't lie, he will have said that it was knocked out, I can tell you. But what a let-off.
Well, what a let-off, but also it proves, and there was some controversy at Castleford last night, let me tell you, it proves just how important those video referee decisions really are. They're not sure that Iro will return tonight. He has a calf injury apparently, and Radlinski has been replaced by Andrew Craig, as we said. This is Dean Clark now, and he gets through the despairing dive from Smythe. Connolly, though, he's a brilliant defensive player, as well as pretty good on attack. But look at that mistake from Clark. That was schoolboy stuff.
It wasn't Clark's fault. George Mann should have been there. What on earth was George Mann thinking about?
O'Connor on hands and knees as the half-time siren goes. Well, Dean Clark shaking his head. Quick play the ball, and he surrendered possession back to Wigan. But the Leeds supporters are happy. They're not too happy with the fact that their team are trailing, but they are very happy with the effort that George Mann and company have made. 10 points to 12 they trail, courtesy of George Mann's try. Edwards, though, is off in the sin bin, and Robinson at one stage there in the first half just spun away from trouble and got over. 12-10 Wigan.
What can I say about Fox Sports Weekly? Okay, in 1 hour we supply a whole week's worth of sports action.
Fight!
The Australians right. Nobody offers that service. Fox Sports, it's a dedicated sports channel. And the flagship show is Fox Sports Weekly. Devastating form. It's not about who's right, who's wrong. It's about results, champion, the facts, and the action.
Quite incredible.
These people are people who really know. Their credentials speak for themselves.
Wish I'd done it.
They've been there.
Romeo on the burst.
Fitzy, former Wallaby.
Freight train in ballet shoes.
Hooksy, fastest century in history.
Up the desk to do the rules.
Anne-Marie Kerr, an Olympic gymnast.
The world #1 ranking.
Andy Pascalidis, Mr. Soccer.
That is a long way out.
Steve Carfino, the Kings called him Mr. Magic.
30 points, 12 rebounds.
John Casey, he's got the best seats ringside.
This is going to be the toughest.
Fox Sports Weekly, Monday at 7 on Fox Sports.
Fox Sports Weekly.
7:30 Wednesday, Fox Sports presents an excellent game of rugby union. New South Wales and the powerful Welsh side clash in this traditional time-honoured game of rugby. The Welsh, always noted for their brilliance in attack and their vigorous defence, will go into this match as favourites. Join us as two of the world's finest rugby sides ever to grace the game play. New South Wales and Wales, 7:30 Wednesday, exclusively live, Fox Sports.
Friday, live 6 a.m. Fox Sports continues to bring you the best in golf, offering their best against the challenging courses throughout the USA in another prestigious tournament of the US PGA. It's the final event before the US Open, so get ready to see the champions in action as they battle it out for the richness of the title and the first prize. It's round one of the Buick Classic from the Winchester Country Club, New York, exclusively live to Fox Sports. June 96, Fox Sports brings you classic sport like boxing, the IBF Super Middleweight title, Roy Jones Jr. and Eric Lucas live. Motorsport, the Le Mans 24-hour NASCAR Winston Cup and the Superbikes live. Rugby Union, International Union live. New South Wales and Canada.
Oh, what a goal!
New Zealand and Scotland. Australia and Wales. Baseball, Major League, major serious stuff. Tennis, the brilliance of Wimbledon comes alive. And the Nottingham Open live. Golf, the US PGA Tour live. Basketball, the NBL and WNBL live. Soccer, the Republic of Ireland and Croatia meet live. Cycling with the magnificent Tour de France. Rugby League, the European Series live. Get it here in June on Fox Sports.
A match that's every bit as good as we dared hope for. Leeds 10, Wigan 12. A really big effort from Leeds, who've matched them try for try, and it's just the one goal from Andrew Farrell that gives Wigan the edge at half-time. Super scene, isn't it, Headingley, on a Super League Saturday afternoon with us here on Sky Sports. Great to have you with us, and I'm sure you're enjoying this match. Leeds against Wigan is always one of the occasions of the season. A lot of people coming here tonight, though, would have thought that Wigan would just run away with it. If you look at the table, Wigan are second top, Leeds second bottom, but not so. Leeds have dug really deep. Bobby Goulding, the St Helens captain, you must have been delighted at 6-0 up for Leeds, weren't you? We said we'd probably have the biggest smile in Headingley.
Yeah, they've been absolutely magnificent. Leeds have been playing the sets of 6 out. They've been receiving it in their own in-goal area. And this fullback, Lee Maher, he's been absolutely outstanding. He's been everywhere on the paddock. And what a desperate tackle from Phil Hassan to stop, I think it was Rob Smythe from going over. Only about quarter of an hour into the game. Been an absolutely brilliant show from the Leeds outfit.
Do you think Leeds are digging deep and looking for that pride that we've talked about before this match started?
And there's no better place to show it than here on Sky Sports. Wigan, the champions for the last 8 years, and all right, Leeds have beaten the last 2 years, but it doesn't mean anything. It's on the day, and Leeds are outstanding today.
I don't see a Leeds scarf on you, but I think if anyone, you will be rooting for Leeds tonight.
A bloke's just gripped hold of me out there and give me a big hug. I was wondering what was going on, but no, I'm absolutely made up. I think Dean Bell needs a little bit of luck and Hugh McGann, and hopefully they can keep going for the full 80 minutes, what we talked about before, and turn Wigan over.
The first time I think that Bobby Goulding has ever been hugged with affection since he left Headingley. But Steve-O, it's been a terrific display from Leeds first half. Wigan have had to grit their teeth, though, haven't they, to stay in it?
Yeah, we talked about pride before the game and the fact that they have to keep going for the full game. They've done that in the first 40 minutes, just a few elementary mistakes, but they've got their tactics right. They've been getting the ball out wide. In the past, Leeds have had the ball spun out wide, but they've been far too flat. And we saw in the first 15 minutes that they started to get at an angle, running onto the football, missing men out, changing the tactics. And quite frankly, Wigan are the best team in the world to move up outside, especially the centres. And if you can throw the long ball over the top, of Shaun Edwards, who comes in at the angle, then Wigan are always going to be in a bit of a trouble. But what do Leeds do? They do everything right, and then it was a kick downfield, and then go to sleep, and it allowed Smythe to come into it, and of course from that position, that's where Wigan counter-attacked and came back into the game. I mean, the kick downfield, let's just move it on, where we've got the kick from Holroyd. Super stuff, look, and it's against the wind. Now this is going to be important in the second half, and when they get to the football, let's just stop it there. Look where they should be somewhere around about here. They held back. It is a problem. It may only look a slight situation, but look at that. Instead of forcing round into the corner, pushing him into the corner, they allowed the chance for the interchange, and bang. They are the best counter-attackers in the world. They just keep going, and that is something that Dean Bell must be really worried about. And this, elementary mistakes, 2 men on 1 man. They should stop him. They had the power, but they went far too high. I know he's a difficult man to put down, Jason Robinson, but they've got to make those tackles count. Situation there, well, this is the incident that really got Leeds back into it. Let's just run it on. The professionalism of Shaun Edwards, you see him there, let's just hold it. Right, he knows that they're going to go on the blind side. He can see Dean Clark here. He's screaming for the football. He knows that all this space is available for him. What does Shaun Edwards do? I'll get in between. He nearly got away with it, but full credit to Steve Presley. He picked it out and he said, right, get yourself 10 minutes into the sin bin. And that allowed Leeds back into the game, and I think that will give them a lot of confidence.
You think so? You really do?
Oh, yes, without doubt. Man. Yeah, it's many a time, especially this season in the Super League, that Leeds, when they sort of go behind, their heads go down, and they just needed that little bit of an incentive. And that try that they scored from the result when Edwards went into the sin bin, they'll go in cock-a-hoop. OK, they're a little bit behind just for this second half, but I think with a strong wind, I really do believe that Leeds can win this.
And I'm sure that Bobby Goulding would agree with that. You will say, and I'm sure you will be shouting loudest for Leeds second half. Most definitely, we could do with Wigan, tripping up here tonight. But as Mike's just said, the wind, it is a strong wind out there. It might not seem it, on the television, but it is a strong wind. And Leeds are playing downhill in the second half. So I think much depends on Graham Holroyd with his kicking game, and Dean Clark to keep marshalling his troops, keep the forwards going forward, and to get the ball out wide to the backs. And the thing is, they also have Tony Kemp out on the field now, playing his first Super League match of the season, Leeds. But they have great hope here at sunny Headingley. That's the scene here. Really is as pretty as a picture, isn't it? And there's so much hope and encouragement on the terraces that perhaps George Mann here will spark a second half to remember. Leeds just trailing at half-time. Stay with us.
Join us today, 6 a.m, for a slice of live golfing action from Day 3 of the Memorial Tournament, here on Fox Sports, your window on world golf.
Major League Baseball. Same-day telecast.
To the fence, he leaps and makes a phenomenal catch.
Same big team.
Goodbye.
The legendary Major League Baseball comes to Fox Sports. Grab your mitt. Catch the Cleveland Indians and the Milwaukee Brewers.
Wow! Lays to right, a base hit. Then he makes a catch.
Major League Baseball, 8 a.m. Monday. Fox Sports.
For the first time on pay television, a channel dedicated to the finest foreign films, sensuous scenes, action-packed drama, offbeat comedy, the best directors, the stars acclaimed throughout the world. The latest releases premiering on World Movies, pushing the boundaries of contemporary cinema.
This is World Movies.
To subscribe to World Movies, please call your customer service centre now.
Pop quiz.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan.
Jordan's going to go all the way.
He was last spotted by a pilot at 30,000 feet.
Shane Hill.
The crowd love it.
The U.S. Army used his radar to guide missiles.
Shaq.
Oh,
King Kong told me that last time they played one-on-one, he was scared.
Andrew Gaze.
yes, he can.
The skipper, Marianne, and Ginger think he's even nicer than Gilligan.
Barkley.
Yes.
The only guy I know whose mother-in-law calls him Sir Charles.
Blahoff.
Can you believe it?
The gladiator thing? Yeah, it's true.
People in the know, telling you what you need to know. The Basketball Wrap, Tuesday at 7 on Fox Sports.
Just one other thing.
Yeah.
Is it true what they say about black men?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can jump higher.
Wayne Bennett on the spot.
I laughed for hours on end.
Meet a different side
I couldn't let those guys down that I coach.
of a league legend.
I couldn't let my family down.
Personal and to the point.
He's the biggest problem I've got in my life.
On the spot, Wednesday at 7, exclusive to Fox Sports.
Welcome back to Headingley, where Leeds 10 and Wigan 12 is the half-time score. Holroyd and Mann, the tries for Leeds, Robinson and Smythe. It's just been the one extra goal from Andy Farrell that has kept Wigan's noses in front. Jason Robinson playing at standoff half. His fourth appearance in a row there. Scored a lovely try in that first half. Really loves scoring against Leeds, doesn't he? And our blimp above the Headingley ground in an almost cloudless Yorkshire sky, looking down as the sun blazes on Headingley this lovely evening. And we have a match to savour and one to match the excellent surroundings that we find ourselves in. Great shots, great pitch too, it's in excellent condition. And it's going to be Wigan who will get us underway. They have gambled on the fitness of Kevin Iro by the looks of things. Pulled up sharply as he chased from one end of the field to the other. Clark is the man he has replaced. So it really is a big gamble by the Leeds coach Dean Bell that Iro will see it through to the end. And Sean Edwards has 3 minutes left in the sin bin at the start of this second half as Wigan get us underway again, and Gary Mercer runs the ball back for the first tackle. It's made by Mick Cassidy. Lee Mayer, who really has impressed as he stepped through these challenges tonight. He was looking over his shoulder, there was no one in support. The tackle was not completed. Now it is by Robinson. Just about played that ball.
He's in great form as a fullback, Lee Mayer. But you can just see that little fine touch that's coming from Tony Kemp. He really has lifted this Leeds side since he came on as a substitute. He's all skill.
Here's Holroyd, and there is Tony Kemp. What can he conjure up here? A lovely ball on the inside to Mann. George Mann. Oh, Iro was screaming for the ball. He was open. It would have been a try.
I think it would have been a forward pass so he couldn't release it. I think Iro was just in front.
This is McDermott, Barry McDermott. It's the turnover on the last tackle. Barry McDermott, the size of him, he went for the power play, and look at the Wigan defence.
That extra little effort from Mick Cassidy just put him down. Important now that they get the defence right, but don't give away a silly penalty. Get back to 10. They're looking eagerly at the referee, Presley.
Simon Horton is tackled by Gary Mercer. Martin Hall is in at dummy half. Looking that way, it's Craig. Here's Farrell. And Sean Edwards is waiting for the seconds to tick down on his sin binning so as he can come back into this match. Connolly, meanwhile, with a kick downfield. It bounces eventually for Fallon. The referee says, right, that's the 10 metres. He's had his play on, and Farrell going up the middle. Farrell, great tackle by Henry Paul. Tony Kemp gets the ball away to Iro. Iro back on the inside, trying to shrug away from Cassidy. And Cassidy and Henry Paul pick him up. 45 seconds remaining for Edwards. Kemp back inside to Harmon.
Well spotted there by Henry Paul. He knew that the ball was going to be switched back from Kemp.
This is Kemp. That's McDermott, and he's dropped it.
Bit of misunderstanding there. McDermott thought he was going to be the dummy runner, and Kemp passed it to him. It was Iro, the man that it should have gone to. He was clean through.
Sean Edwards is back on the field.
The look of disgust there on Kevin Iro. He knows it's a chance that's gone begging.
Hall decides to come this way with O'Connor. Tackled by Mercer and finished off by Harmon. Hall again, the dummy half to Edwards. Misses out Robinson, finds Farrell. Connolly's there. Connolly on the inside, weaving run up the middle from Connolly. This fellow is electric, but Lee Mayer did well, stuck to the task well. And with a little bit of help from Newton, he was pulled down. Now Jason Robinson, elusive running again, but offside against Leeds. Creeping up at the play of the ball.
He allowed the advantage, none forthcoming. There you see they never made any attempt to go back the 10. Skipper Harmon, the culprit, and Andy Farrell will eagerly accept the chance for an extra 2. Well, it was a good break by Connolly. Tremendous stepping run, but Rob Smythe on the right wing was screaming for the kick because there was no one at home. Lee Mayer, the Leeds full-back, he was in the line. There was just no one at home. This is the run, and out wide, Rob Smythe is screaming for him to get the boot to it.
He's explosive though, isn't he, Gary Connolly, when he runs from a standing start and takes them on up the middle like that. Andrew Farrell just shielding the eyes, taking aim. It's bang in front of the posts. Just has to keep the head down here, one feels. 12-10 Wigan. 14-10 Wigan. Courtesy of the boot of Andy Farrell. They just inch closer to a victory, but it's a long way from settled yet.
Those 2 points may prove vital as well. We keep talking about this very strong wind that is going to be to the advantage of the Leeds outfit. Whether they utilise that remains to be seen.
Farrell drills the kick-off along the ground. Holroyd picks it up and gives it to George Mann for the first run. He's tackled by Cassidy and Hall, with Horton in there too. Terry Newton, must say, the youngsters, Newton and Mayer, really have shown up well in this match so far. And one or two of the senior professionals, Steve-O, like Mercer and Iro and Mann, they're getting their spurs back as well.
Yeah, they're pulling together, they're working for each other too. Sharing the pressure, sharing that workload. But every time that Kemp gets his football, he seems to be controlling the game, slowing it down to his pace, attracting the Wigan defenders. He's a classy player.
George Mann taking O'Connor up, but O'Connor stood his ground. Iro. Holroyd, Kemp rather. High kick from Kemp, that's spinning. Fingertips to it from Mercer. And good job that Connolly was there. Now Smythe taking on Holroyd. 6 Wigan players, as I was saying, first half in the England squad for the European Championship, and 5 Leeds youngsters in the Great Britain Academy. That really tells you a lot about the potential here at Headingley. And next Wednesday night we will be in the south of France for the first defence by Wales of their European crown. France against Wales. Next Wednesday night we'll be on air at 6:30. Hope you'll join us for that. Here's Farrell. Gives it to Connolly. Showed it to Craig. And Holroyd and Cummins would not be denied. Craig again. Edwards hoists the kick. That will hang in the wind. Mayer's after it. Oh, it bounces into the arms of Farrell. It's play on. They've gifted a try to Henry Paul. He was clattered by Fallon as he scored it. It was a brave try from Paul, but they gifted the try to Wigan. Paul's 9th Super League try, and a painful one at that.
Beautiful kick into the wind. It just curled round. It came off the fullback Lee Mayer and the poacher Supreme. Henry Paul, he sniffed that one out. But Edwards with the kick. See how he got the toe underneath the ball so that it was going to be spinning backwards. Bounced off the chest of Lee Mayer. Bit of misunderstanding. Two Leeds players went for the same ball. And this man doesn't need any invitation, does he, when he gets anywhere near the try line. Good thinking, though, by Shaun Edwards. Paul down injured. And Lee Mayer, of course, also injured in that incident when he couldn't get the ball.
So Andrew Farrell now with the conversion attempt. Not a difficult one for Farrell. And the big screen there right behind the post here at Headingley, so Andy Farrell can see himself in the screen. Doesn't make any difference to him though, does it? No problems. Another 2 points, and Wigan suddenly take a 10-point lead.
Edwards, bang, straight up there. But watch out, two Leeds players go for it. They didn't call. Bang into each other, off the chest of Mayer. Flips the ball out. Kemp it was that went through. Misunderstanding. And this guy in for the 4, and vital 4 too.
Now George Mann, Leeds need something pretty quickly to get themselves back into this. George Mann is hurt, he's on his haunches. They had a couple of chances early, didn't they, in this second half? But they need a try, you fancy, to reply, just to get the confidence back again.
Well, that
and
won't
they've
help.
got the knock-on against them here.
Yeah, that will not help at all. Well, it really was a bad one there. Jamie Field made a real meal of it. He just lost it, the control. It's at this sort of time when they really have to consolidate, and you can see there that Field loses control before the interference from Paul. Yeah, he was losing that.
Edwards crabs across the field of play and gives it to Afire. Afire taking them on out wide and nearly put into the crowd. In fact, he almost was put into the crowd. But a big shove on him.
He collided with the hoarding.
That could have been very, very dangerous.
Look at the speed, though, on the outside. It just got to him. Jim Fallon got him first. He knew that he was going to be in trouble. Bang. Fallon did the right thing. You could see that the left foot. Good play by the touch judge. He saw it.
The cameraman scattered as well, didn't they?
Well, the way that Kemp's playing, anything can happen. He's got all the skills in the world. The New Zealander, Tony Kemp.
Here's Nick Fossard. Wigan now with this 10-point advantage. George Mann taking on Robinson.
It's important that Leeds play out their full complement of 6. Keep this pressure applied on the Wigan defence. Get so close. And then up for the kick. They have not used this big strong wind yet.
Kemp drills it into the ground, aiming it towards the corner, and Afire is content to let that ball go.
No point in trying to get a nullified tackle with bringing the ball out so close to your try line. He did the right thing there, did Martin Afire. He knows they've got a 10-point margin. But there's a man that I feel confident can get Leeds back into this game.
Wigan ahead by 10 points, 7 straight wins behind them. And 75 tries in all before tonight. And a penalty now. Quickly taken by Robinson. They're going to run it.
Well, that was silly play, wasn't it? They really didn't need that. There was a silly penalty to give away. All that good work. Nice kick downfield by Kemp. And they undo it all.
Lee Mayer caught for the flop. And Andrew Johnson just couldn't keep his feet. Here's Hall to Robinson. Gets away from Harman. All wrapped up. Hanging on to the ball. Robinson as he takes the tackle. Number 4 in this set of 6. Edwards. Farrell. Connolly. Gets the ball away to Henry Paul, who slips. And so Tony Kemp and Terry Newton drop on him. Edwards back to Farrell. Watch for the kick. Farrell's in a bit of trouble. It's back then with Connolly. He's away from Kemp. Connolly dabs it through. Picks up. Relaunches the attack with Edwards. Out wide to Robinson. Robinson cutting back on the inside. Keeps the movement going again to Edwards. That's Cassidy. That's forward. Oh! And Jim Fallon over on that far side again with a sliding tackle that missed, fortunately.
Tremendous play by Wigan. That's why they had a champion side. Not for this particular pass, but the way that Connolly, individual skill, full credit to Leeds. They applied the pressure. Wigan couldn't get the kick away. And this is absolute wonderful skill there from Connolly.
It's Leeds, though, who are back in possession. And the crowd getting a little impatient now.
That was a bit high. Robinson gets a case, but he went over the top. And Harman felt that. The head went back. Having treatment now, pro forward Neil Harman.
And he's in obviously some discomfort. Robinson has been admonished by referee Steve Presley.
There's the incident again. You could see that Robinson looked as though he was going to go low, and then he just seemed to spring up right into the face of the prop forward Neil Harman. And I think he caught the shoulder. I think trying to protect himself, maybe the shoulder and the neck area was just pushed out. Bang. Well, when you get into the swinging arm department, the impact can knock your head back.
He's obviously got a problem with his neck.
Maybe it's just cricked the spine.
Oh. But certainly Gary Connolly has caught the eye a couple of times in this second half. This is on the last tackle, look.
Skill factor high. A lot of players would have opted for the kick. I think perhaps with the fact that they've got a 10-point lead would have added to it. Connolly took the gamble. But look at the support play there. Once they make that half break, wasn't the best from Cassidy. Miles forward. Harman looks as though he's leaving the field now.
Well, that's another blow for Leeds then, that their skipper goes off. He's plainly got a problem with the back of the neck. Captain replaced by Barry McDermott again. Must say, when McDermott has had the ball in his hands, he's been explosive tonight.
Well, that's good use of the wind, isn't it? That was a tremendous kick.
So chances here now for Leeds to build again. With Kemp. Good ball to George Mann. Big space. Out wide is Dean Clark. Oh, good tackling back. Rob Schmeith. Attacker normally, defender then. They're having to defend again here. That run from Mercer. Plays the ball quickly. Mann. Holroyd. Holroyd taking them on. Good defence again though from Wigan. 10 metres short of the line. Newton gets the pass away. It was risky. It was too risky.
The option was good, but there was no support. Okay, it went to ground. But look how far they were behind. They anticipated that Newton would just opt for the play the ball. You must make yourself aware.
Great tackle from Kemp on his opposite number, Henry Paul. The young Terry Newton, a little touch of inexperience there, perhaps, Steve-O. He's done that a couple of times tonight.
Yeah, but he should have someone supporting him.
Yeah, he should.
But to be fair, though, we talked about it at half-time that Leeds are getting the ball out wide.
Here's Johnson. He's got two in his wake, and he's got Connolly in support. There's Connolly, now a fire. Good quick hands from Wigan, but great tackling back by Iro. Andy Craig shot into dummy half. Connolly again, Farrell. Edwards thought about the kick, didn't fool McDermott. Johnson, long ball into the arms of Kemp. Hassan.
Well, if ever there was an overplay by Wigan, that was it. Heavy traffic, and they try to keep it alive. Oh, he's lost it.
Dean Clark loses it in the challenge with Johnson. Connolly picks it up.
Connolly won't panic. He'll take the play of the ball. Just the impact, wasn't it? One-on-one, that was okay. Even if the man does dislodge the ball, that's the new rules.
Cassidy. Desperate defence now from Leeds. The last thing they want is to concede another try. O'Connor through one. Unloads the pass to a fire. It's ahead of a fire, open ground, and a fire scores. Well, that is the last thing that Leeds wanted. But they were sucked in, and they left the fire all on his own out on the wing. And you can't give a fire gifts like that.
They were spread out wide ever the moment that Andy Johnson made the big, deep run. And this, I'm afraid, is not the best effort in defence. All alone, and fired. It was a gift in the end. Good play, though, by Terry O'Connor. But where on earth was the defence on that occasion? The winger came in to help tackle Terry O'Connor. Good little option run on the blind side. Hall, look at the big fella, bang. Fallon goes in, 3-on-1, no one at home. In and out, he knows he's got the speed. He knows he's got the try.
Fifth try in 3 matches for Martin Offiah now. The Great Britain and Wigan winger is starting to hit the straps in Super League. You can almost hear a pin drop at Headingley now. So noisy, so enthusiastic early on, the Wigan crowd, the Leeds crowd. Farrell with the conversion attempt, drifts it in towards the posts on the wind. Just didn't drift it enough, but it's a big gap now, 14 points.
See how they use the blind side. You can see Fallon, there's the one with the cross going backwards. Can't have you back to the defence. And by the time he's gone, he's just stood there. He does not make a move. And that is called leaving your post.
Well, the sun starting to set at Headingley, and by the looks of things, starting to set on Leeds, who trail now by 24 points to 10. And I won't need to tell Dean Bell or remind anyone who supports this club that next Sunday, Leeds are up in Cumbria against Workington. And unless Workington come up with a miracle at Odsal tomorrow, it'll be the battle of the bottom 2.
Who would have thought it?
Well, exactly. But if Leeds play like this, they must have a great chance up there. But Cumbrian spirit
still not over here yet.
Leeds doing well to keep it alive. Clark, though, he was down a blind alley then. He looks for support. There was none there. Here's Kemp. Back inside it goes to Newton. Good run from Newton. Gets the ball away well that time. Holroyd. Holroyd's over under the sticks. His second. You're right. It's not over yet. Credit Terry Newton with the pass. It came off for him on that occasion, and Holroyd ghosted through.
Sometimes they call them runners. Sometimes hookers like to be ball handlers. And when you do things like this, you're no good unless you've got this support. And it was there. It had to be scored. It was a nice step. And Graham Holroyd, he knew that he needed support. Kemp back on the inside. And Newton did well. See how he spins. That deserved a try. That spin there. Great stuff. It's not over yet by a long chalk. Kemp with a switch. You can see that the Wigan defence, Cassidy and Edwards, were caught short. But this is great upper body strength. This is good support. And this is a very, very nice try. The crowd, they go bananas over this one. Leeds are back.
And that try took Graham Holroyd beyond the 700 points mark in his career for Leeds. There's two more. And it's 16-24 now here at Headingley. The match not over yet. A quarter of the game or thereabouts to go. And a fire will run this ball back. That's good defence. Barry McDermott let Martin Afire know just how heavy he is. He's about 17.5 stone. And suddenly Leeds are fired up again. And so are their supporters.
They've been quiet for the last 15 minutes. Leeds have to apply that pressure. Can they make Wigan make that mistake?
Farrell. He's got Iro with him and Tony Kemp. It's very good defence this from Leeds, keeping Wigan in their own 20-metre area. And still, with the tackle on Henry Paul, Dean Bell must be a much happier man this week than he was last. Oh, the penalty's given. Robinson went flat out.
Neat chip over, and you'll see how George Mann just takes a half step. Bang. Yep. Just moved a fraction. You don't have to move. If the player runs into you, that's his problem. But if you move, then it's a penalty. Is that a fine game, the referee, Steve Presley?
He's not missed much, has he?
Nope.
Cassidy is tackled by Dean Clark. It's another big effort wanted here from this Leeds defence now. Edwards gets the ball away to Horton. He crashes through one, takes on Mayer, and is eventually hauled down.
He played the advantage. He will now give the penalty for the high tackle. George Mann, what on earth was going through your mind? Good refereeing again, and that was awful stuff. Well, at a time when frustration comes into the battle.
And George Mann, of course, is just back from a suspension. You would have thought maybe he would have learned the lesson, but Horton is all right. To be fair to the big second rower, Simon Horton, he didn't make anything of it. He just carried on, didn't he?
He wanted the 4 points. He's a professional. And the way that he runs sometimes, I mean, you'd need an elephant gun to put him down.
Strange he's not been included in the England squad, though, Steve-O. So I know he's not played much first-team football, or as much first-team football this season as last, but still, he's a great talent.
It won't be long.
As is this fellow, the youngest ever England captain, Andy Farrell, named this week. And he's about to boot Wigan to a 10-point lead again. No problems for Farrell from that range. 26-16. Lovely scene, isn't it?
Beautiful countryside in Yorkshire, especially in this weather.
Yes, cricketing weather, isn't it? But now Super League weather, because it's the long hot summer that stretches ahead of us as the chase continues for this first title, and Martin Hall is replaced by Craig Murdoch. Craig Murdoch, subject of an audacious bid by Keighley this week in the First Division to sign him. They have something of a scrum half crisis apparently down Cougar Park. Phil Larder was quickly on the phone apparently to Wigan, and the bid was turned down flat. They wanted him on a month's loan. McDermott has gone without the ball.
Now, is he deemed to have the ball going backwards, but he's given it the knock-on first time. Yeah, he lost control whilst he was running forward, so therefore That goes down as the knock-on. Crowd don't like it, but the referee's correct. It was that first little fumble that constituted the knock-on. You talk about Craig Murdoch. No wonder Wigan didn't want to get rid of him.
Oh, Robinson's through a gap. Robinson. Oh, crunch time. Great tackle by Gary Mercer. Here's Andy Johnson again. Murdoch, the dummy half. Edwards. Craig. A fire. Nowhere to go there, so he comes back on the inside. Skips away from Iro. Can't get away from those two.
1 point by Edwards, perhaps.
It's with Robinson. Now it's with Leeds in the shape of Holroyd. But the referee has blown the whistle and he's pulling them back for infringement in back play. Penalty Wigan.
It was obstruction that grabbed the player. It was Sean Edwards that was grabbed before he could get to the football. They'll take the easy two. Well, George Mann involved, and Edwards milked it for all it was worth. Double cream on the top of that milk bottle. You can see that he said that Mann and Kemp had infringed. He got the penalty, did they? Half and half, and then you can see Edwards went for the Academy Award and got it.
So 26-16, and the lead about to be restored to 12 points with Farrell's penalty goal again. 5 from 7 for Farrell. About to be 6 from 8, I fancy. And 6 from 8 it is. 12-point lead. Wigan deep into the last quarter of the match.
Try-saving tackle here. Mercer comes in and crunch. Bang! That was a ball and all tackle. That was supreme stuff. It had to be. Well, the Leeds coach, Dean Bell, has got to glean some positive things out of this match. Let's not forget that Wigan played midweek. They must be running nearly on empty. They will tire surely in these last vital minutes. If Leeds take the gamble, throw the ball out wide with gay abandon. Here's the replay of the kick. It was a good one as well. Hassan really should have put himself on the line and taken that on the full.
Instead, scrum goes down and Leeds have possession from it. Lee Mayer.
They've got to take a big gamble. Gary Connolly gone back into the full-back position.
Here's McDermott. Leeds
strong
searching
run,
for two converted tries to get themselves back for at least a draw. Fozzard. He goes on almost on his belly, on a belly flop then to get a few extra metres. Does well. Holroyd saw a little gap over the top. The bounce was unkind though. It was easy for Connolly in the end.
Good position though by Connolly. As we mentioned just previously that he dropped back into the full-back role. It was nice play. But a nice option though by Graham Holroyd. He's had a fine game. Been thinking a lot today.
Farrell Horton rather takes the tackle. Murdoch. Oof. Graham West, John Pendlebury in front of him, one of the assistant coaches at Central Park. Farrell unloads to Murdoch. He finds Edwards to Robinson. Robinson scampers through all the way. Robinson, oh, sensational. But that was a great tackle from Fallon. Wigan have it back though. It's 6 to go. I don't know what the crowd are booing for. Cassidy trying to get to the line, but what a sensational run from Robinson that got Wigan into this situation. Murdoch now. Murdoch gets the try. Crowd from Headingley boo. Crowd from Central Park celebrate. Murdoch, his 5th Super League try, but put it down to Robinson with a wonderful weavy run.
Just amazing from a standing start, isn't it? Oh, like a Ferrari, a Porsche, I don't know, any of those fast cars that I can't afford. but that was really excellent speed. Good work by Fallon. He reefed the ball away, and that's why the referee did the right thing. It was back to 6. Sheer strength there by Craig Murdoch. And it was a wise choice by the Wigan coach Graham West to bring on fresh legs at a time when they needed it. And it's paid off.
He's in wonderful form, Craig Murdoch. 5 tries now in his last 6 games. And he's also come up with tries in both games against Bath, but it was Robinson with a scampering run that gave him the opportunity. And Farrell, 6 from 8. 75% success rate tonight then for Farrell. And he adds the extras, does Andy Farrell. 34-16, I fancy Wigan are going top of Super League tonight.
Tremendous caval tackle by Fallon, but you can see how he reefs the ball away, deliberate. Man on man, one on one, that's okay. And that's the reason why the referee, Steve Presley, took it back to 6. Didn't matter, but that's the reason why the crowd here at Headingley, they were booing the referee. I don't know why, he was spot on.
A good evening's work in the sunshine at Headingley for Wigan. Top of Super League for the first time in a little less than 8 minutes' time. Double substitution. Tupu has come on and Neil Cowie returns. The ball jars out. Referee will play the knock-on.
But was it reefed out with 2 men in the tackle? Well, it was deemed that he wasn't going for the football. He was actually just pulling the man down.
Wigan are relentless. Johnson gets away from Cummins, can't get away from Fallon and Dean Clark.
He's a talent for the future, isn't he, Andy Johnson? He's had a fine game. Shown some nice touches. Just another that's come through the conveyor belt at Wigan.
Here's Tupu, former Western Samoan Rugby Union international, just plodding his way forward towards that line.
The strength in the legs there. Tupu, like 2 armchairs.
Horton again. Leeds camped on that try line of theirs as Wigan roll forward with Edwards. Long ball. Robinson again. Robinson, wrestled to the fore brilliantly by Terry Newton. Murdoch, Edwards once more, dabs through Edwards. Oh, took the gamble, did Mayer, and the referee will take a look at this. Murdoch was looking for the 4. Now, did he get it down before the ball went out? Mayer took the gamble to let it go, and maybe it's backfired in a big way.
Try time. It has. But did he get control forced down? It's going to be interesting. But Mayer should have really got to it. Well, it's hard to say. I don't think he got... I think he missed it, Murdoch. I think you watch slowly, the arm goes down the side of the football. Yep. That cannot be a try, surely. You must have control downward pressure, and he missed it.
He got it with his upper body, though. The chest, watch.
Well, it bounces. It's going to be a tough one.
Well, the video referee is obviously taking a good, long, hard look at this.
Now then, does it touch the line? You can see that he's missed it. There, goes down the side. Now, does it hit the whitewash?
Don't think it does. Well, fortunately, Steve-o, you and I don't have to make the decision. Wigan supporters on the terraces are convinced it's a try. What's the decision? Everyone looking at the screen? Not given. Did not have control of the ball as he touched it down. Look what Wigan were doing. His hand was on the line, apparently, is the decision. His hand was on the dead ball line, so he was out the field of play.
It was a close one, wasn't it?
Oh dear. Well, that's what it's for.
Yep. Well picked.
There he is, yes. We weren't looking at that. We were looking for downward pressure. That's why we're not video refs.
I don't want to be one either.
Well, not after last night. Mercer, Clark. Well, Leeds with a little escape then. Mercer to Mann. Oof.
Been a good effort from Wigan this second half. Leeds really did throw everything at them in the 10 minutes after the restart. They had their opportunity, but Wigan's scrambling defence was superb. That's a knock-on.
Oh, it's play on, says Steve Presley. And Rob Smythe will run this one in. Try for Smythe, his second.
He'll go to the touch judge, though, I'm sure, will Steve Presley. Well, he didn't.
No.
He got the nod.
Touch judge has a quick word with him now. The try's given.
Well, it must have hit his foot. But he definitely got a hand to it, did Smythe. And if it was down in a forward motion, that's got to be a knock-on, unless it's deemed that it hits the foot. Interesting. Dummy from Iro. Smythe gets a hand in. No, he dropped it. My apologies to Smythe. It appears that Iro dropped it. That is good refereeing again. He's had a damn fine game, hasn't he, Steve Presley? So's this fella, Rob Smythe. He dropped a sitter early in the game, but he's certainly made up for it.
11 tries now for Rob Smythe in Super League. The man who made his debut against Leeds in the Charity Shield way back last August. Doesn't that seem an eternity away now? So Rob Smythe, and not Martin of Fire or any of the other top names, is now Wigan's leading scorer in Super League. In fact, he was before this game started with 9. He's done his reputation no harm at all with 2 more tries here tonight. Farrell, his reputation is completely intact. Oh, I tell you, they've lost Botica, but they have the boot in waiting in Andy Farrell. 40 points to 16.
He must be as near to the complete all-round footballer. This is a mistake from Iro. Just lost it. Off. No problems at all for the referee or the touch judge. My apologies to that man and the officials. I thought he got fingertips to it. Well, the sun beaming down on Headingley, but there's not much sunshine on the Leeds side. It's been a good effort, an improved effort, but Wigan relentless as ever. They take advantage of those elementary mistakes that Leeds have offered them. Penalties so often midway through this second half allowed Wigan slowly but surely to take control.
But perhaps at least something for Dean Bell and Hugh McGann to build on. It's a much better performance in defeat, admittedly, than it was last Friday night against Bradford at Odsal, when frankly Leeds, well, they were a shambles, weren't they?
Yep. They've gone from dismal to delightful, but it's still losing money, and they're still going into next week's game for a clash. There's a mistake from Barry McDermott. Did he lose it? Yep. But they're going to next week's game against Workington for the battle of the wooden spooners and relegation.
Yes. Who would have thought it? Halfway through the Super League season that Leeds and Workington would be fighting it out for who would go bottom of the table at the midway point. Actually, from a Leeds point of view, it's frightening, isn't it?
Well, you said that they will pick up a lot of positives from this game.
Well, they'll have to, won't they?
Oh, yes. I mean, the mere fact that Tony Kemp is back, he's shown a lot of skill. Obviously out of match condition, but he's certainly going to be an improvement to them. But let's not take anything away from Workington. It was a good win against Oldham recently.
McDermott over the top. Leeds haven't finished yet. Newton. Support is there from Clark. But look at Wigan scrambling to keep them out, even though, as we approach the last minute, the win is assured. Kemp. Ball back to Fozzard. Fozzard trying to force the pass over the top to Cummins, and he does force the pass back, and the referee checks and will award the 4. But Cummins' 7th Super League try, perhaps too little, too late.
Full credit for keeping the ball alive. Nice work by Tony Kemp. And Fozzard, he took the gamble, whipped it through, and the Wigan defence hesitated. Cummins took it. See how Kemp uses the body, and he was looking for Mercer, didn't find him, and that just bounced away. Actually, he came up a Wigan hand, perhaps. That's the reason why it wasn't a knock-on. And well scored.
The try from Francis Cummins. Leeds hit the 20-point mark, and Holroyd now will try and add the extras. It's respectability that Holroyd is kicking for here, and it must be just about the last action of this match. No, he's missed it. Done nothing for his total, did nothing for Leeds' total, didn't matter in the end. But a much better performance from Leeds in this defeat. They've lost by 40 points to 20 against Wigan. Francis Cummins with the last try of the match. So something for Dean Bell to build on. But it's Wigan who are now top of the tree in Super League. And perhaps that is ominous for the rest. Rob Smythe, leading scorer for Wigan in Super League. 20 points to 40. The champions have won, and as I say, they hit the front.
Fasten your helmet, charge those back.
Academy against the French might well have cemented.
Ian Durnaman, Cunningham. Cowboys once again down the end of the field that they want to be. Inside to Murphy. Murphy shows some pace. Still going, reaches out. Glenn Murphy, tremendous determination to score the try. Well, the referee is going to check
the corner pad, the goalpost pad in the way. Man couldn't see the ball. Well, and guess who threw the pass to get him in there? Andrew Durnaman again. Just 90 seconds ago was worrying about the shape of his jaw.
Look at Murphy go. This is tremendous work. That's a try.
Well, the referee calling that the rather thick goalpost pad was in the way. He wanted to make sure that it was down. The sponsors of that goalpost pad were pretty happy with it.
Tremendous work by Glenn Murphy. He's just come on the field. He's handled 3 times in that set of 6 and finishes it off scoring a try.
Yeah, went out to Andrew Durnaman. He was the guy that took the ball wide. It looked a little bit different as he was second phase out wide. Looked a bit strange that he opted to go back in, but he beat 2 or 3 men. A little bit strange there that Jamie Matho just decided to get across as quickly as he probably could have. And that's the real difference between the games Australia v England, I believe. It's just the speed that the players come across from the inside.
Luke Phillips converted the try from right in front. It's the Cowboys 10, Leeds 0. Andrew Durnaman involved in both tries. Gibson brings it back and he runs around Matthew. Wasn't a shepherd, but been a little bit more obstruction it might have been. Sterling hasn't seen the ball yet.
Pretty good, both of their wingers. They're running a 2nd and 4th in the EuroLeague try-scoring competition. They can finish off a movement, but as you mentioned, they're not seeing a hell of a lot of the ball at the moment. This is where most of the play has been, this end of the field.
Hay. Matthew quickly over the advantage line, makes some territory. Still short of halfway, 5th tackle to Harris. Andrew Durnaman is closing in on him. He finally gets the kick away, but it's not a good one. Harris chased there by first Durnaman and then Murphy. Richie Blackmore muscling the ground. It was Vincent, the fullback, on the wrong end of it. Kyle Warren Steps off the right foot. Mercer, a hard-working defender. Steve Walters out of dummy half, flicks it back. Duneman to Lomax. They're all proving hard to put on the deck. Cunningham. Getting faster with age, Owen Cunningham. 20 metres out. Andrew Duneman to Vincent. A little shimmy and he breaks away from Hassan. Gets it back to Marr. Play on with Scott Marr. Now's the last tackle. Ian Duneman calls for it. Rolls it in. Gibson comes forward, knocks it on. Play on with the Cowboys. Ian Duneman away to Luke Phillips. That's a fair try. Mistake made by the Leeds fullback. Luke Phillips scores. He's having a fine season. That's his 6th try. Richie Blackmore.
Well, the play came out. I thought it was basically a try that was presented to them on a tray. No need for the hand to go up from Blackmore, which stubbed the ball down. The winger was standing in perfect position to try and grab the ball, Paul Sterling. All the hand did was basically put it up into no man's land and give the opportunity for some of the Cowboys guys to get in there and put plenty of pressure on. They managed to do that.
And Luke Phillips did very well to get back into an onside position. He was actually over the goal line and ran backwards. 6 tries, 78 points. Came up from Canberra following Tim Sheens. This is a difficult kick for him though. What a start for North Queensland. Way out to the right. That's a poor kick. Didn't hit it at all well, but it's 14-0 to the home team.
Well, this is where the pressure really is going to be put on the Leeds team. They know that they're doing it a little bit tough. They're under a lot of pressure. 14 points down. Probably if they've got to take one bit of confidence out, they've got to remind themselves that they've got themselves into these error positions. It hasn't been anything from North Queensland, which has basically outplayed them.
Interesting to check the statistics. It just verifies what we're seeing, that North Queensland are dominating field position. They have been in Leeds half for 14 minutes of the game, and Leeds down the other end only 7 minutes. Play on as Leeds give it back to the Cowboys. Cunningham. In fact, you'd say it's been more than just in the Leeds half. They've almost been camped inside the 30. Murphy to the 20. They're hungry, the Cowboys. They know there are tries on offer. They want them. Andrew Duneman, lovely pass to Vincent. He held it back perfectly. It comes back once more to Duneman. Seller standing over him. Ian Duneman. Poor pass, pulled in well by Lomax. A bit of a scuffle.
Against you, you go along with it. You get right out of it. Get right out of it.
Gary Mercer frustrated by that decision.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of frustration on board before the referee blew his horn as well. It was something I think Johnny Lomax probably had a little bit to do with it. He decided that he wasn't all that happy. Just decided to push Mercer away a little bit. But they just can't afford to keep making the mistakes in their own territory. It wasn't just a penalty that's going to become... This is the stage of the game where we'll start looking for Steve Walters as well, one of the best dummy half runners in the game. A massive drop kick, puts it right down. It was exactly what the Rhinos were looking for. Walters at this stage will try and look for a little bit of tired defence. The game's been going a bit over 25 minutes. He'll be looking for some of the players to slowly come off the ground where we just have one marker. That's when he'll decide to take off.
Wally, both Wayne Collins and Barry McDermott back on the field. Wayne Collins in the headgear has had upwards of a dozen stitches inserted in that wound.
Kyle Warren opens them up and he's only 6 metres out. They need a quick play the ball. Leeds trying to get back. Steve Walters burrows away. Pass comes out from Duneman. And it will be another try for the Cowboys. And it's Glenn Murphy in for number 2. Selective passing. beautiful work by the Cowboys after the break made by Kyle Warren. They're pouring through the holes in the Leeds defence.
Through the holes, and that's exactly where it happened. It was a wonderful move that they put on, opening up huge holes, again not moving across in cover defence is what Leeds found so expensive. Obviously just impossible for them to get back when under so much pressure. Steve Walters sucking in 3 or 4 defenders. A nice wide pass really brought Eston Harris out of the line. I don't think he'd be too happy the way that he got sucked out of his position at that stage. He's a guy that's been regarded as one of the most exciting prospects to come out of Great Britain in the last 30 years. Having a look at his defence on that occasion, probably